Chale then. So we start with our next salt, which is known as bleaching powder. Okay, very interesting, and a lot of nice stories we will share on bleaching powder. Bleaching powder. Has anyone seen bleaching powder or not? Have you seen? So whenever you'll see, have you seen those municipality garbage cans which are there, right? So people offload a lot of garbage out there, organic, means food stuff, which are prone for infection and bacteria. So they will sprinkle one white powder in and around it. That is called bleaching powder. It has got a very unique smell. If you smell that red harpic or the red thing, that has got a bleaching powder smell. Now, bleaching powder is used as a disinfectant also. In water also we add. Yeah, swimming pool water also we will be adding bleaching powder in order to kill bacteria present in it, okay? But the interesting part is bleaching powder is actually calcium oxychloride. There is another formula of bleaching powder also, but this is the one that is there in your syllabus. Calcium, there is an oxygen, and chloride. So just see, calcium is +2, oxygen is what? -2. Okay, and there will be calcium oxychloride, CaOCl2. Okay. Bleaching powders, let us first discuss about what this is. You know the property of bleach. Bleach we use for two things. One is if you are prone to using a lot of white garments, okay? So white garments will never remain clean if you wash with your tap water and washing machine and detergent. So we use mild bleaching agent. One of the bleaching agent which is very commonly we use is Rin. Rin mein ek aata hai, Rin Ala, ALA. So if you are used to wearing whites, like more of white shirts and all, so you will actually, what you do, with your detergent, you will add bleach to it. However, bleach is used also for linen and cotton fabric before dyeing. Bleach can remove color. So whenever you are using a bleaching agent, it is said that only wash the whites. Don't wash any colored garment along with it. The reason is either the colored garment will lose its color or the white will get damaged because of this bleaching agent. Bleaching powder we also use in woolen clothes to make the wool unshrinkable. Other things of bleaching powder is like, say, rainy days, you have platforms and other things outside, means courtyard, concrete and area. Moss formation takes place, algae and moss, which are very slippery and people can actually have a fall. So you sprinkle bleaching powder and you can actually clean it with a broom or a brush and all the dirt is removed. However, it is a disinfectant. It will bleach out all impurities. I'll tell that. And the thing is, it is very, what to say, it's corrosive in nature. People who deal more with bleaching powder are asked not to have rings in your hand. Okay. Now, this bleaching powder is actually not the substance which bleaches. The fellow is this chlorine. Chlorine is the bleaching agent. So chlorine, you have learned, chlorine we use for purification of water. Chlorine we also use chlorine for bleaching. We use for disinfecting. So chlorine is that substance. Okay, so let's write down few things before we go ahead. Bleaching powder, we actually make bleaching powder by reacting calcium hydroxide, CaOH2. Calcium hydroxide is reacted with chlorine, and in this reaction you get CaOCl2 and H2O. Bleaching powder is soluble in cold water also. It is soluble. That's why you add it in swimming pool. If you see some lump which is not soluble, why after adding bleaching powder, that lump is actually lime. That lump is lime. Now, more important reaction is what happens when bleaching powder reacts with an acid. I'll share everything, very nice things on this. CaOCl2, you react it with an acid like, say, sulfuric acid. So it will give you calcium sulfate, it will give you chlorine gas and water. This is the fellow who is the bleaching agent. इससे ज़्यादा आपको एग्जाम में कुछ पूछता नहीं है. This is the bleaching agent. Now, that's what I used to say. When you go to hotels, I have given this example before. If you want, I'll share pictures also on Teams. If you go to hotels, you always find that their towels are absolutely white clean, right? I do that in my house also. You put the white towels into the washing machine, and if your washing machine has got a heating facility, heat the water, add your detergent, whatever you're adding. And what I do is that I open that red toilet cleaner, that Amazon Presto jo hai na, red color is right there here with me right now also. Usko aap smell kar sakte hai. I add that into the washing machine. That has bleaching agent. And then wash the towels. The towels will come out sparkling white. But if you add too much of that, the towel is also supposed to get very rough, kurkura ho jayega, crispy. So what do you add out here? Softeners, fabric softener you add it, some woolen softener, and then your towel will be as fluffy as you see in deluxe hotels and all. So they will be, otherwise with the washing machine, they will never become white. Or shirts, like when I used to work in office, I used to wear a lot of whites. So a white shirt will become clean only when you add bleaching powder. However, the garment quality should be good. Now an interesting observation, like we all have, like in our what you call housing society, you know, we have got two type of water supply in your house. One is the fresh water supply that comes into your into your taps. Another is the treated water which comes to your flush tanks. As a result, the treated water, there's a lot of complaint. You know, the treated water makes the WC get stained, and you know the color of that water is not good. Okay, then there will be a lot of staining and all happens. So there is one, I tried one experiment which actually is very dangerous. You should not try. But that experiment is like patented. Any type of stained toilet you can bring, you need not have any hard work. So it's very easy. First of all, sprinkle what do you call your red harpic onto it. Okay, now that's a very dangerous reaction. That's a base, sodium hydroxide. So you sprinkle it, and if with a brush you line it, or else you cannot line it also. You did not put any hard work onto it. But however, your nose and mouth should be absolutely covered, hard covered. And then take cleaning acid. Don't do this at all, and pour it onto that toilet bowl. Just after pouring, don't breathe at that time, because there will be immediate chlorine release. If you breathe, it will be highly difficult for you, because the first time I did it, it was horrible experience. Means chlorine has got inside, and you will feel I should drink water, I should do whatever you do, you don't feel comfortable at all. It's a very, very weird feeling. So if you cover it and then cover the toilet seat, leave it for 10-15 minutes, go and just flush it, it will be sparkling clean. A question arises, how did that dizziness of mine go? That dizziness is very bad. That time somebody will say, take lime water or something. I found Amul buttermilk working as a superb antidote to that. Take that Amul buttermilk, and once I had that Amul buttermilk, that thing. But chlorine smell is, chlorine, open anything, means you can smell it from here. It's highly fumigating. But the bleaching agent, this is the reaction actually, a type of reaction. This is present in our toilet cleaners also. This reacted with this, produced a lot of chlorine. Immediately you will see white fumes coming up. Close, and don't breathe. Hold your breath and do, but you are not supposed to do that. And then it becomes clean. Yeah, the gas will come to your nose and create a ajib feeling in your chest and nose. You feel short of breath. You know what is short of breath? Like this it will happen. You feel short of breath because all the oxygens have been replaced by chlorine. First of all, you need enough amount of fresh air. So once you come out from the bathroom, never close doors and do all that. This is not to be done at all. I found some rugged scales and other thing. So I have this habit of doing researches, and in that I found it cleans very nicely. Yeah. It takes time, but 30-35 minutes it will take time. Till you inhale, see, all the chlorine has to be flushed out. So the best way is you have to inhale a lot of fresh oxygen. So the moment, see, first time when I'm doing, I'm like an idiot. I close the bathroom door. Obviously, I'm cleaning the bathroom. So the bathroom got a high concentrated zone of chlorine. What is running in the bathroom? Only the fan is running. The moment I opened the door and entered my room, I felt as if I've come to heaven. I felt what is oxygen. You are breathing, but that smell is very bad. So never ever mix Harpic and acid together. Many people think if we mix Harpic and acid, bathroom will become very clean. Actually becomes clean, but it is very dangerous. It will be written there, don't mix with acid, because you release lot amount of chlorine. So what are the uses of bleaching powder? Disinfectant, used as bleach. Okay, when you go to a beauty salon and you're doing facial, bleach facial. You'll see any bleach facial, whether it is from any of the good branded companies, they will first say apply little bit on your hand here, not directly on face. Everyone is having a different sort of reaction to bleach, so they will first apply here. The chances are that it will itch you very badly. If it doesn't itch, only then bleach is applied on face. So many people do tan bleaching. It will take out all dirt and everything, but it will create a lot of irritation also. So bleach, no matter how costly it is, the beautician or the person will always apply first on this much. If it is okay, then they proceed. Otherwise, everyone is not susceptible to that much of bleach. So used for bleaching clothes, used for bleaching wool. If you bleach wool with it, then the wool becomes unshrinkable. The wool doesn't shrink. Yeah, if you see woolen sweaters and all, after we give the first wash, the sweater will shrink. So if you bleach it with bleaching powder, the wool becomes unshrinkable. It is used as a disinfectant. I hope you know the difference between antiseptic and disinfectant. Do you know the difference between, what is the difference between antiseptic and disinfectant? Can you bathe with Dettol? Why? Obviously, all babies are supposed to bathe in Dettol. Yes. Okay. In any of these compounds, there is a substance present called phenol. Just for knowledge. If phenol concentration is more than 1%, it becomes a disinfectant. Lysol you don't use for bathing. Lysol is for cleaning the floor only. Dettol is a very interesting substance. Dettol can be used both as a disinfectant and as well as an antiseptic. If you take concentrated 2 cups of Dettol and you add in on your mopping bucket, then Dettol works as a disinfectant. You can mop the floor with Dettol. People do that. And if you take 2 or 3 drops of Dettol in a mug of water, and after shaving and all, you can apply that water on your face. Saffron is antiseptic. If you make it too much concentrated of saffron, then you wash baby clothes in that. That becomes a sort of a disinfectant. Therefore, we say somebody who does not have personal hygiene, you should first bathe in disinfectant, then bathe in antiseptic. Disinfectant is very, very concentrated form. Like Lysol, it is a disinfectant. Presto, floor cleaner, it is a disinfectant. It's not antiseptic. Antiseptic is safe, which you can apply on your body. Okay? In fact, Dettol has a lot of intoxication property also. If you go to Northeast, typically Nagaland and Mizoram, and if you try to buy big Dettol bottles, you have seen big Dettol, no pharmacy will sell you directly. People drink that. Nasha hai usme. Dettol has something called chloroxylenol. People drink that. Dettol, all alls are alcohol, paracetamol, all the medicines with all that you see. Al means aldehyde, all. So all means alcohol. Dettol is drunk by people. Nasha hota hai Dettol peene se. The big Dettol bottles are not sold. Only the small ones are sold. Okay? Many interesting and weird facts. Fine about bleaching powder. There's nothing more about it. Okay? Only thing is, it is very, very corrosive. Remember that. Our next one is known as what you call as POP, plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is known as calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Hemihydrate. Hemi means half, hemisphere. So this portion is actually the water of crystallization. Calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So what is, like, say for example, what is washing soda? Sodium carbonate decahydrate, 10H2O. This is hemi. Hemi means half. So this will be calcium sulfate CaSO4 dot half H2O. Now this is very interesting. Sir, how do you get a half molecule of water? Actually, this is the logic way of understanding. How do you get a half molecule of water? Theoretically not possible. So what do we say? If one takes half, then 2 CaSO4 should take how much? 1 molecule. This is the chemically stable formula. Did you understand? 1 takes half, so 2 should take how many? 1. So actual name is calcium sulfate decahydrate, or we call it calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Now let's see the interesting part. Before actually going ahead and studying what you call this salt, let us see some interesting things about it. Now, this was found as a very cheap source of making statues and idols earlier, toys and other things. And it's a hard cast, okay? So there is a thin line difference between two items. One is plaster of Paris and the other is gypsum. Gypsum is present in cement also. It's a hard mass, right? Gypsum is present. So our gypsum's formula will be CaSO4 dot 2H2O. This is gypsum, very, very close by formula. This is gypsum, this is plaster of Paris, this is plaster of Paris also. CaSO4 2H2O. Our job is to push out half molecule of water from it. Half molecule of water. So this will be heated, and this is a this you should remember, this is heated at 100 degrees Celsius. Fixed. You can't go beyond 100. This is heated at 100 degrees Celsius, which is 373 Kelvin. Exactly 100. More than 100, if you do, it will become black. Means you have expelled both water molecule. You should expel how much? You should expel 1.5 from here. 1.5. 3/4 of water should go out. At that time, it takes the shape as CaSO4 dot half H2O. Okay. And how much is remaining? Another, how much? From 2. 2 means 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. How many halves are there in 2? 4 halves. Out of 4 half, 1 half is there. So how many halves are remaining? 3 halves are remaining. So 3/2 H2O. Let's see the interesting part. How many of you have had an experience of a hard cast during a fracture? Hard cast during fracture, okay? So all these items, those bandages, this works as a hard cast. So what they will do, calcium sulfate hemihydrate or plaster of Paris bandages, gauge, you have seen the gauge bandage. This gauge bandage will be actually coated with calcium sulfate hemihydrate, and it will be in an airtight box. Once you open it, you are not supposed to again unused ones keep it inside. So one box open means open. Then they will do what? They will take the fractured limb, your hand, and put it on a stirrup. After that, they will put cotton layers in it because you have to keep it warm. And these gauge bandages will come out very crispy, just like pastry sheets. Have you seen? So they will come out just like those sheets. They'll put those sheets, and a lot of powder will be falling. It's very dry, and the person will have a mug in which he will dip both his hands. And just like a beautician, he will do this on your. So he's wetting it. As soon as he wets it, what does he do? He adds another 3/2 of water to it, and it becomes gypsum, hard. So hard that when you have to remove it afterwards, they have to cut it with a saw. Saw cutting has to be done. This is calcium. All the POP walls which you see, interiors, many people do false ceiling. They call it what? POP. That's also plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris actually came out in an exhibition where this plaster was used in a Paris show where they made a lot of idols and other things which are very, very cheap. So this is all about plaster of Paris. Used for what? Used for civil jobs. All type of civil jobs we use POP. In fact, in many of the where POP also finds as a replacement to white cement. You know what is white cement? White cement is used on the portion between the tiles of your bathroom, which is white in color. So POP also finds a replacement to white cement. Then say suppose an AC technician has come and he has drilled a big hole on your wall. Now that hole has to be filled up. How they will fill it up? With POP. Once with POP it is filled up, after that you can polish it, sand it basically, and then again paint it. POP again, those POP are not as hard as this. See, the fractured hand, if it comes in contact with water, will never become soft. But these POPs will become soft. Then POP, major use of POP is into the medical surgical place. Okay, so calcium sulfate hemihydrate, remember that. It is deprived of water and it cannot come in contact with moisture. The moment it comes in contact with moisture, it will become hard mass. Same like cement. If you see, go to a cement go down, they will never store sacks of cement in moist environment. Because if you store sacks of cement in moist environment, the cement sack will become hard like a stone. And usually in a cement go down where they keep the last sack on which the cement sack, the last sack always is sacrificed. वो पत्थर बन जाएगा, उसको आप उठा भी नहीं सकते. That's it. I think there is no more things to be said. And our last topic is hydrated salts, which I have already covered many times before, that a hydrated salt is always supposed to have color. Remember that. But some hydrated salts do not show color. For example, sodium carbonate or washing soda. That's it. This concludes. So if you reverse this reaction, how do you reverse it? Plaster of Paris added with 1.5 of water molecule turns back to gypsum. Gypsum is a not naturally occurring substance. Yeah, they say it's naturally occurring, but volcanic ash and all also contains gypsum, but we make it actually. No, after the cast is in your hand, in which your friends write "Get well soon," "Love you, Jan," all those are actually gypsum. But when the doctor was applying it, it was plaster of Paris. Why is plaster of Paris? No, gypsum, how can you use it? Gypsum will not have a shape, na? My hand is in this shape. How can you apply gypsum? Gypsum comes like a hard mass. How will you make a shape out of it? Plaster of Paris, you can make it in whatever shape. I'll first put cotton, big layers of cotton, and then squeeze the cotton along with the shape. So the hard mass also takes the figure cut of my hand. It slowly gets dried up. As you put water, by the time the person is actually casting this portion must have hardened up. That's why it is used. That's why used for making statues. You have a die. Many Ganesha statues are also POP statues. They will have a die. Die, you know. Die is the mold. They'll have a Ganesha mold. On that Ganesha mold, start pouring plaster of Paris. As soon as it hardens up, take out the mold, Ganesh comes out. That's the difference between, if you see the worship of Ganesh idols here or in Maharashtra, the Ganesh idols are reinforced idols. Even inside there will be rods, and the structure is a POP structure. Next year, after immersion, you can again take out and again paint it. But whereas if you see in eastern side, like say Bengal and Assam, where the idol of the goddess Durga is made, that is made through mud, and now that is more preferred. So their external skeletal structure is made, and with mud the entire structure is created. So the big Ganeshas that you see, they are non-biodegradable. So people have said that shift out of that. If you can dip it in water, nothing happens. Okay? So shall we start getting into carbon and its compounds? What I'll do, I will now send one worksheet on this chapter. Right? I'll send a worksheet on this chapter. Do that worksheet, which will have a lot of questions, which are board-oriented questions. And then slowly we will also, once we finish carbon and its compounds, then we will do our second round of revision. Aaram se ho jayega. But do not keep things pending for a long time. Carbon and its compounds will be one bit interesting for you because you're learning it now, and maybe in school you will learn it sometime in Dashera period. But you need to know it in deeper. Yeah.